For those of you who may have watched the online Mass that is called Mass on Demand, that is held out in Lavender Bay. You may have noticed on the weekend, on the 16th Sunday in Ordinary Time, Year C, the parish priest, Father Richard Leonard, a Jesuit priest, celebrated the Mass there on the weekend. And I think, and you would know that on the weekend we had the Gospel of Mary and Martha, and this priest, Father Richard Leonard, S.J., had a very feminist take on this Gospel, and from his homily, he was misleading the people and tried to connect it with the plenary council in pushing for women leadership through the lens of this gospel story. And I think he was very opportunistic in trying to take this gospel story to a direction that it was not meant to take. And he was very much misleading the people who are unaware or who don't know better of what the gospel is meant to be about. And I suppose one of the things that he advocated for was for women deacons. He was saying that this is Jesus fighting against the patriarchy of his time, the patriarchy of the church, which is absolutely wrong. And I suppose he kept on saying that we should have women deacons in the church. He kept on going back about the ancient tradition of the deaconesses back in the time where they helped with several different ministries within the church. I don't think that this was a very well researched. Given that he is a doctor of some sort. It wasn't a very intellectual statement. He didn't do his research at all. He didn't know that there were women who helped as a deacon, but not as an ordained ministry. It was more of a pragmatic decision. Because back in the day, baptisms were done as a full immersion, and so the women would get wet after pouring holy water upon them or fully immersed, and so they needed women to be there to dress them in their new gowns again after baptism. And so that was more of a pragmatic decision. It wasn't a decision that came from Jesus. And he should have known this, but he took this opportunity to take advantage of it, which is very disingenuous. And so the women deacons did exist, but they weren't meant to be an ordained ministry. They weren't meant to be the norm. It was more of a pragmatic decision so that women could be treated, could be properly looked after baptism. And he kept on going, saying that he wanted to go back to the ancient tradition of the church, the ancient tradition. What about the Latin Mass? Why can't we go back to that? He did not say anything about the Latin Mass as well. He kept on saying, oh, let's go back to the early ancient tradition. We've got the Latin Mass, which produced thousands of saints throughout history, and yet he didn't say anything about it. All he had was the agenda, this feminist agenda of making women deacons within the church, following from the plenary council. And he kept on saying, that Jesus was fighting against the patriarchy by doing this, by coming into the house of Mary and Martha, and empowering them, which is absolute garbage, which was absolutely ridiculous. If Jesus was fighting against the patriarchy, listen, Father Richard, if Jesus was fighting against the patriarchy of the church, would he not have made one of his disciples a woman? Think about that. He did not make any disciples of his, any of his apostles, any of his close apostles, a woman. There must be a reason behind that. And you did not say anything about that. That was very disingenuous. If Jesus wanted women to be priests or deacons, he would have appointed one of his apostles to be a woman, but he didn't. And so it reveals that their calling is found elsewhere, which we are not promoting, but keep on fighting for the priesthood and the deacons. Women, we know, are perfect to serve as mothers and also as religious nuns or even consecrated virgins. And Father Richard, he kept on saying, it's about time that we should make women as deacons, and which is, I don't think that is actually furthering the feminist agenda, because if Father Richard did a bit more research, he would realise that from the Greek diakonos translates to, in English, to be a servant. And so what he actually wants is for women to serve the male priest on the altar. That's what he wants. That is not a feminist. Is not of the feminist idea. That is not promoting the feminism. Here he is condemning how Martha was following the domestic roles of women, just working in the kitchen, and here he wants a woman to serve a man on the altar. That is not what the feminists are after. I'm sorry. So it has totally backfired upon him. And so he hasn't researched it well. He hasn't understood what Jesus is talking about. He's just tried to insert his own agenda into the gospel on this passing Sunday. So it has been a very disappointing to see that a priest like this, of course he's a Jesuit, so we know that they have a lot of different strange ideas, the Jesuits, so they can never be trusted. And what was also very disturbing is that at the end of Mass, he started singing this tune about, he said that since where we have the image of Mary and Martha, this very feminine image, we might as well start singing about the love of God as if we are children within a mother's arms. And so he went through this just started singing to himself. No one knew what was going on. It was towards the end of Mass, just before the blessing. He started singing, and it was a bit strange, if anything. I think people were wondering what was going on, and if this is what the Bishops' Conference in Australia want to allow, I think they need to think again, and they need to discipline this priest who has spoken a lot of against the teachings of the Catholic Church, and even heretical. And so he needs to be disciplined by the bishops. If this is allowed to go on, they are going to have a lot of problems in their hands in the future, in the very near future. With what we've seen at the Plenary Council, it's given a license to a lot of priests to abuse the liturgy, to abuse their power. So if the Bishops' Conference don't ACBC, if you're listening, do something about this. This is clearly a feminist priest. He needs to be shown the error of his way. And in the gospel, we often hear about wolves in sheep's clothing, and this is one of them. This priest here is a wolf in sheep's clothing, leading the people astray. And what was surprising, that at the end of Mass, actually at the end of the homily, some of them started clapping. There was an applause for him. The people of God in Australia are being led astray, and they don't even know about it. And for those who did applaud, I want you to reflect and examine your conscience. There are so many faithful priests in Australia trying to do the right thing, and yet when a priest steps out of line and speaks heresy at the pulpit, you give him an applause. So many priests in Australia are struggling at the moment with the draconian way that the church is run from Rome, and also within Australia as well. And yet you do not give them any encouragement. But yet this priest, a dissident priest, advocating the things that the church has never supported, and you give him an applause. You really need to examine your conscience and see what it is that you're advocating. If any of you think that women will change the church, it will not. I can tell you that. Look around. Our churches are already predominantly women, and it has not brought the faith back. It has not brought the youth back. It has not brought anyone back. If anything, the women are destroying the church. And if we look at the other churches that have already allowed women deacons or even priests, it has not changed their church numbers either. If anything, it has destroyed the church. It has destroyed them from inside. It has made it so divisive that a lot of them have left the church. Putting women in these positions will not change the church. Just look around. And if you think that making them as deacons is going to help anything, you are wrong. You are putting them in a position of service to the men. And so it's actually running contrary to what you think it will achieve. So once again, everyone, please share this video. Father Richard Leonard is the parish priest of Lavender Bay, And so we'll be seeing more of him down the track and what he will be saying through the pulpit, the pulpit. And so please share this video. The church in Australia needs this at this time. It is going in the wrong direction, and the bishops are doing nothing about it unless they are held accountable. Please make your comments below. Let me know if you agree or disagree with what Father Richard Leonard said on the weekend, or if you were there. If you would like to share of what you heard and what you experienced, let me know below. If you think he is right or if he is wrong, he needs to know this. The Catholic Church needs to know this, and the people of God need to know this. They are being led astray and they don't even know it. And so please like this video as well, and please subscribe. I'll be putting a spotlight on the different characters in the Australian Catholic Church in the future, and seeing how they are destroying our faith here in Australia. So please like, please subscribe, and please share this video to everyone you know, because at the moment the Catholic bishops are not being held accountable. They think that they can get away with anything. And so this is our opportunity. This is our opportunity to hold them accountable. And this channel will be the way we will fight back. So please continue to pray for this ministry and pray for the church in Australia. God bless.